Gen Z girls about guys? What do they think about relationships and dating and the importance of that?
Well, I think a big thing now that I've noticed is Gen Z women being risk averse around guys and around dating. Um, so for example, if you go on like TikTok dating advice, it's very kind of cynical, it's very negative. It's like, if a guy approaches you, he's a predator. Or if he kind of compliments you a lot and gives you loads of gifts, he's love bombing you, he's an abuser. The words like narcissism and red flags getting thrown around. And it's honestly everywhere. Like I saw a tweet recently that went viral that was like, oh, if you meet someone and you have intense chemistry, that's a major red flag. Like you should leave
Why?
because it's like a trauma signal that reminds you of your caregiver who mistreated you or whatever. And it's got like thousands of likes. And it's that kind of language is so common among young women talking about dating, which, like, I think there are legitimate reasons to be risk averse. So I think, obviously it's much harder to date now after the sexual revolution with less kind of guardrails of custom and chivalry. And I do think there's reasons women are risk averse to being kind of disposed of and, not having a meaningful relationship follow from meeting someone. Also think, we've got, very high rates of divorced parents, which, plays into that risk aversion. Also think social media teaches you to be risk averse and avoid discomfort.
But what is the reason for the risk aversion? Is it just not wanting to ever get hurt? How much of this
Yes.
is just an avoidance of any discomfort?
Yeah, so basically all of these things are creating this absolute terror of getting hurt. So I think a lot of the therapy speak and the kind of feminist language is cloaking this deep fear of vulnerability. I think Gen Z grew up with this kind of message that anything with risk is a threat to be avoided. Whether that's through social media, whether that's family structure, whether it was, the childhoods we had. Our childhoods were very much like avoid risk, prioritize health and safety and regulations, and, simulating it all online rather than actually engaging in risk-taking behavior. And I think that plays out all the time in Gen Z's life. But a big, part of that is relationships because they come with a high level of risk. And I don't think some Gen Z people can kind of, it's almost like we've been convinced that's not a part of life, that you can actually get away with a life that avoids risk and, uncomfortable emotions. But you can't. And so it's actually, really tragic because it puts us on a path to miss out on really meaningful things. So I think a lot of the kind of child-free TikTok stuff that everyone makes fun of and the, less desire among Gen Z to have children can be explained by this fear of discomfort and risk aversion. There's like a deep terror of things going wrong, which, you go on like child-free TikTok as well. It's all about discomfort and it's all about...
What is that for the people that don't know?
So people who've made the decision not to have children will post on like DINK, which is like double income, no kids. So they'll post like their luxury lifestyles that they can afford. And then they'll post their kind of child-free days and what they get up to and everything. But there's also among that, there's a lot of young women, especially talking about kind of the risks and discomfort that comes with having children and trying to warn other young women and girls not to have children. So, for example, there's a girl who does a free birth control series on TikTok where she basically lists like every possible risk that could go wrong with pregnancy or children to kind of...
Was that the girl with a list?
That's another one. So then there's another...
What's this one?
So this is just a girl. She does like a helpful birth control series to remind you why you shouldn't have children. And she'll just put clips of like children screaming and throwing up and destroying stuff and
right.
Like,
okay. This is like a cultural intervention type.
Yeah.
A lifestyle warning.
Yeah, but I think
And she doesn't have kids, so she's
no.
right.
Yeah. And then I think the first person to do that was this woman who created the list, which is like a crowdsourced list of reasons not to have children.
I think it was 350 reasons not to
Yeah.
have kids, and it was a page and a half, but she printed them out, so it's, you know, like 9 pages, 10 pages or something of reasons not to, and I think the reasons to amounted to a page of A4. But in the reasons not to have kids was can't wear cute heels anymore, will miss brunch with the girls, literal parasite living inside of your body.
Yeah. But plus every kind of risk or health scare that could possibly go wrong is like listed on it. So like everything from starting with, you know, losing sleep and, you know, having like a stomach ache or a headache to the absolute worst case scenario risk that could happen. And you kind of read it and you're like, God, this is like the most meaningful thing a human can do. You know, it's the fundamental human instinct. Not to say that everyone should have children, but when you see, you know, so many young people convinced that life should be fun and easy all the time, and that anything that comes with this level of risk is not worth it, I think that's a symptom of like something extremely sinister, which is, you know, Gen Z are suffering from because they're on a path to miss out on the most meaningful things because of it, out of fear.
It's the prioritization of immediate emotional comfort over long-term flourishing. It's the avoidance of risk, but also change, because change is associated with risk.
Yeah.
There is a kind of individualized solipsism about, I think the most popular reasons for why people aren't in relationships or why they're not dating, it's working on myself right now, just don't feel ready, don't have enough time, having too much fun on my own. The same thing for why people don't want to have kids. It's this sort of imposition on their life. That's what they're primarily concerned about, because if I do this thing, things are going to change, and if the things change. This episode is brought to you by Element. Stop having coffee first thing in the morning. Your adenosine system that caffeine acts on isn't even active for the first 90 minutes of the day, but your adrenal system is, and salt acts on your adrenal system. Element contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio of sodium, potassium, and magnesium with no sugar, no gluten, no coloring, no artificial ingredients, or any other BS. It plays a critical role in reducing muscle cramps and fatigue while optimizing brain health, regulating appetite, and curbing cravings. The orange flavor in a cold glass of water is literally the best way to start your morning. I've done it every single day for over 3 years now, way before they were a partner on the show, and I love it. Best of all, there is a no BS, no questions asked refund policy, so you can buy absolutely risk-free, and if you do not like it for any reason, they will give you your money back, and you don't even need to return the box. Right now, you can get a free sample pack of all 8 flavors with your first box by going to the link in the description below or heading to drinklmnt.com/modernwisdom. That's drinklmnt.com/modern wisdom. If you're new to the channel, here is a selection of videos I've picked out to get you started. Go on. Press away.